It's a test, right? That you did not create. That you have a standardized test that you're putting against other people that put their pants on the same as you with the same equipment, and we're going to see how we work out on speed and accuracy. That's it, right? I think it was Ernest Langdon a long time ago. It's like, you don't use cover and it's going to get you killed in the streets. Well, if you can't tell the difference between a match, a scenario, right, and a gunfight, you're going to die anyway because you're stupid,
exactly.
right?
Oh, it didn't do anything. Usually one.
You just wiped the entire memory card.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
One of these are like, oh, what the heck happened to him?
Gotta turn this up.
Oh God. No, stop.
Chris.
Stop.
The more you push it, it keeps it going. So now we have 5 minutes of this.
I'm just gonna stop hitting buttons, I guess.
Yeah, that'd probably be a
So,
good idea.
I thought it was an on-off.
Note to self: don't put Ian in front of the
Yeah.
the switchboard thing.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, yeah. So I guess we're here now. So, yeah. Welcome to the Big Tex Ordnance podcast. I'm Ike. We have Ian, Tara, and then our Scott. Have you been on the podcast before? Maybe once or twice.
This might be 4,
Yeah.
5.
He's
Something
one of
like
the
that.
top guests that we've
I
had.
was gonna say he's probably got a record.
Yeah.
I think you said last time it was like the most downloads or something like that.
Oh
or
yeah,
most
it's definitely,
views.
definitely.
Yeah.
Your episodes definitely have the most downloads and views, but I think appearances wise, he's got to be at least top 3, if not
at
the,
least.
the top.
Yeah, I think
spot.
this is 4.
Yeah. But anyways, Scott Jedlinski, Modern
Yeah.
Samurai Project.
Oh, hello. Make it awkward right off the bat.
Yeah, just step right into it. But so I guess everybody's pretty familiar with who you are. So I
Yeah.
don't think we need to go into bios or background or
well,
anything.
I mean,
I
for
don't
the
think
handful
so.
of people that this may be their first time watching, I mean,
Yeah.
it'd be good to give a little background, I think.
You're going to make me go through that, huh?
Yes.
All right.
You can do the short version,
Okay, all right.
but-
Scott Jedlinski, Modern Samurai Project is my training company. We specialize in the AIWB concealed position and red dot pistols. I've been doing this for about 7 years, full-time 5. Teach about 100 classes a year. I got 7 staff instructors. I'm going to do another 760 under the banner. That last year, probably the same thing next year. And life is good. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
So one thing that always gets me is your class tempo. Like how many classes you do a year? You
Yeah.
said about 100 a year.
Yep.
Like that. Has that gone down since last year? It seemed like last year you were like,
For the
I guess
for
about
the
100.
past.
That's 2 a week.
So what year was First Shooter Symposium? 2018?
Yeah, probably.
That was 85. And I got lectured by some of my co-instructors that I could not keep that pace up for very long. I'm going to burn out.
Hold my
crash
beer.
and burn. Yeah. I was like, okay, old man. Oh, wait a minute. I'm older than you. Anyway, so, yeah, I think in 85 I had like, I'm sorry, in 18 I had like 75.
1985.
1985, right? I had 85. In 18 I had 75 or 85 classes, something like that. And I think right in 2020, even with COVID, I had 100 scheduled.
Wow.
And at the end of the year, still wound up doing that, but had to delay some things. So
Yeah.
I was like, ugh, 2020. I never want to do 2020 again, ever again, for a variety of reasons. But yeah, imagine doing 100 classes, but instead of having a whole year, now 6 months.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because, oh my God, people aren't dying all of a sudden and blah, blah, blah. Anyway. So yeah, about 100 classes from there. Yeah, that's the tempo.
I mean, earlier when we were talking 300 plus days a year of travels, wild.
That would be
is wild.
That'll be a lot less. That's a lot more manageable because before I was doing the same amount of volume and probably being on the road for 320, 330 a year. But now,
It's like a month at home.
Yeah, with Heather running everything, she has been able to get more of the classes in a compact area.
Yeah.
Heather's
Right.
wonderful.
Yeah,
She's
I appreciate that.
absolutely
Yeah,
wonderful.
she's the best. So instead of going from California to Dallas to New Jersey to Minneapolis and then back home, now it's all Texas, West Coast, California, and stuff like that. So you just bang them out, and then you got a week off.
Yeah.
And then you go bang out some more, and then you got 3-4 days off, and then a week, and then so yeah, I'm looking forward to 2025. So a lot.
So how do you keep yourself trained up when you're doing all these classes? I know people ask me, they say, "Oh, you work at the range, you shoot every single day," and I'm like, "No, I work every single day."
So that's the big myth, right? You want to shoot less, become a firearms instructor.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that you bring that up. I don't know if so this past couple years has been a rediscovery of things, a reigniting of fires, right? Because you start shooting, right? You start taking training classes like I did and stuff. You kind of make a name for yourself, and you have all the time to think and train and compete and, take classes and argue on the internet, right? And then you get successful. But then you have a whole other bunch of different challenges of the business, scheduling, travel,
Right.
Dealing with the administrative parts of the business, dealing with customers, dealing with purchase orders from police departments, which is literally my favorite thing on the face of the earth, right? Things of that nature. And then you're trying to get your instruction, your POI, getting it to flow and everything happening, and then you want to get it down pat. Well, while you're doing all that, you're not training and getting better yourself, right? And what happened to me is like, well, people come to my class, I'll have, high level, like grandmasters coming to see how I teach other people come to my class, and, internet personalities, all this other stuff. And, they come to class and it's just like, you're not really that good. I mean, again, I'm not trying to disparage anybody and stuff like that, right? But, what happens on Instagram and YouTube is different what happens when you're doing things repeatedly over again and trying to learn maybe a different way of how a person does it, right? And then all of a sudden, the people that I was training before who couldn't beat me, all of a sudden are crushing me, right? Why? Because they had the luxury of time and training and practice and matches and stuff like that. And them beating me is wholly unacceptable, right? Not acceptable at all. So then I started, the good thing is I have a very good network. I have a better network now, especially my home network is much better now, to where me getting out and training, right, with other people is now encouraged, right? So I took 6 classes this past year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Let's see. 2 with my buddy Donovan Moore, a couple private lessons with Donovan Moore, right? I mean, he's my best friend, so you could say that's training, but we're mean to each other, right? When we train, right? There's no hugs and kisses. This is like, what's going on, right? I did 2 days, a 2-day private myself with Tim Herron. I took a class with Eric Graffel, and I took a 4 or 5 hour private lesson with Sean Griffith. So yeah, all getting to my comeback to competition, right? Because I just got to keep that edge back, right? And that's the thing. On the internet, we instructors put a lot of talk time into saying you got to constantly train, right? Constantly go out and other people, blah, blah, blah. Not many trainers do that. And especially when you teach a lot, it's very hard to get out there. I've made it a priority, right? Not only in shooting, but in my own physical fitness, right? And getting back to training more with jiu-jitsu. Hopefully someday, probably next year, it's been kind of alluded that I may or may not get my black belt after 30 years of training in jiu-jitsu, right? But just those personal growth types of things. And it has been invigorating. It has, being in better shape makes the travel less strenuous, right? You get better. When you start getting better, you get more excited. You want to train more. And then when you start taking those other fresh ideas from other people that basically may have taken what I taught them and put their own spin on it, and it's a different way to say something, and then you get invigorated to teach that to other people, right? So I think that's the formula. But you got to have the proper home support system.
Right.
You have to have the proper attitude. You can't believe your own hype, right? And you got to put it to a metric that you didn't create, and that's what competition, standards, drills, and things like that do for you. So, yeah, there you go. Awesome. Kind of a long answer to your question there, but that's it is very appropriate because that's what I've been going through for the last 2 years or so. Yep. So.
Awesome. So speaking of competition, what do you say to people that say that, competition kind of doesn't really translate over to like a concealed carry or
stop being lazy. Stop being lazy. Yeah. Just how about this? We're going to take the names off. Stop being stupid. Stop being lazy. Stop making excuses. Okay.
Because that's what they are. They're really excuses. Because people that say that aren't really good at competition.
Yeah.
And that's their excuse for it.
Yeah.
Right.
At least in my experience. It's a test, right? That you did not create. That you have a standardized test that you're putting against other people that put their pants on the same as you with the same equipment, and we're going to see how we work out on speed and accuracy. That's it, right? I think it was Ernest Lang did a long time ago. It's like, you don't use cover and it's going to get you killed in the streets. Bro, if you can't tell the difference between a match, a scenario, right, and a gunfight, you're going to die anyway because you're stupid.
Exactly.
Right? But all these things, like I teach a lot of cops a year, probably close to 1,000 a year, right? And those guys all ask me stuff like, I'm just worried about bad habits. Why? Because you don't do cover, you don't do tactics, and yada yada. And I'm like, well, just think of it as an exercise. He's like, well, what do you mean? I go, when you were trying out for the SWAT team, right? How much did you actually shoot? You're like, very little. I go, how much did you PT? Right? He goes like, how many push-ups did you do, right, when you were trying to make the team for your PT and your physical fitness, right? Yada, yada, yada. He's like, a ton. I go, how many push-ups have you done on a call-out? How many sit-ups have you done on a warrant, right? How many miles have you run on a high-threat vehicle interdiction? 0, right? But those exercises you do in the gym help you with your edge, your physical fitness, your overall competence as an individual, and makes everything else easy. Think of it as the same way. And I was like, that makes sense. And the other thing competition really does, right, which again, when in 16, 17, 18, I was probably competing 4 or 5 times a month, right? And then the business takes off, right? Civilian classes are always taught on the weekend, and so are matches. So I didn't compete for the longest time. I've shot 4 matches this year. Some were great. Some were shit, Actually, none of them were great. Some of them were passable, and some were shit, right? But you have to, in order to do the thing, you got to do the thing, right? You got to get out there and do it, and so the big thing is about competition, you learn how to ride that lightning, right? You learn that, for other terms, stress inoculation, right? You learn how to, all these people are watching you, man, better put up and shut up, right? And for my everyday competitor out there, right, looking to get in, you think that's stress? Try being a well-known firearms instructor and showing up at your local and see what kind of pressures are on you. But you got to learn just to let that go. And get better and put what skills you have to the test. So
that's a big mindfuck, shooting in front of your peers.
Yeah. Like, it's an eye opener on your skills.
Coming here on a Wednesday to shoot the local competitions with the dudes and having your squad or XYZ standing next to you, like, okay, let's see how he shoots. It's a mindfuck.
It's intimidating.
Yeah,
especially because you're the only one doing it. There's no, like, in a class, you kind of get lost in the sauce.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. 10, 15 other people on the line with you, but in the competition, it's like it's your stage.
Yeah,
all eyes are on you.
You have your 30-second stage, but everyone's staring at you for 30 seconds, and then is going to walk down range and look at where every one of your bullets went on that target, or didn't go on that target.
There's no hiding.
Yeah,
100%. There is no hiding, right? And the best critic you can have is yourself. It's the best critic you can have, right? And just with competition, it's on a metric you can't hide from, right? You can go to, for example, my class, and when we do the individual times on the standards and stuff like that, you can make your excuses here or there and stuff like that. But in competition, like especially USPSA or even IDP for that matter, it's in practice score. Yeah, it's right there.
Anybody can look at it.
Yeah, anybody can look at it. But more importantly, at the end of the day, nobody cares. You're the person that has to care. You have to look at your data, right? You have to look at how you did on your accuracy, how you did on your speed, and compare it to other people. And that way you know what to work on for those core skills.
I mean, even shooting, for the black belt patch at the end of, or whomever's, coin at the end of a class, everyone's watching you. You've spent 2 or 3 days on the line getting instruction. You want the coin.
Yep.
And it's all in the head. It's all big mind fuck.
Now, I'm going to go on the other side of that. It may sound like I'm being contradictory to what I just said. Internet. Not everything is about competition. Okay? We have to understand why we are doing what we are doing. Why are we shooting guns? Why are we taking, jujitsu? Why are we going to the gym, right? You understand that philosophy. And I think that's a kind of a thing I've been going down, and truly understanding people and what their motivations are, right? Because lately there's been a thing like, if you don't compete, you're a piece of shit, right? You don't know, you're never going to be great, blah, 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 blah. And I understand where that kind of comes from, right? But you got to understand where a person is coming from. You know what I mean? Like, lately, a lot of, how can I put this? I'll probably get in trouble on the internet, but whatever. I have friends, right, that I have encouraged to get into competition. Some cops, right? Now they're competing. Now everything is about competition. And they are some of the meanest, most angriest people on the face of the earth, right? Because they're not achieving what they want to achieve. And since other people don't compete, they're pieces of shit too. It's like, calm down, people. Okay? Here's why, right? Like, let's say cops. You're running 5 shifts a week, if not more, 12 hours a day, plus overtime, plus if you're a SWAT man, you're getting called out, plus you have kids, right? Plus you got to work out, plus you're a man, so you do jujitsu, right? Right? Me talking to that guy, or anybody talking to that guy, and it's like, guess what? Now you need to take time away from your off time and your family, everything like that, and go shoot and take 3 to 4 hours a weekend or so, once or twice a month, and go compete. Otherwise, you're a piece of shit. Nothing, right? It's not going to resonate with them because philosophically, it just isn't there for them. You know what I'm saying? Now, you find that guy, though, that like, hey, man, this is how to get better, and they can rearrange and then encourage that guy. But for that guy that doesn't want to go out there, how about you take what you learned in competition, you take what you learned in that training class, and provide a shortcut for them and help them out? Because philosophically, they're never going to shoot a match. So you screaming at them is not going to make them shoot a match. How about you help them out with what you learned from competing? On the other hand, right, we people who carry guns every single day to protect our friends, family, loved ones, and it may be your job, right? When we go to a match and we see the guy in the full jersey and all the, sponsor livery, even though he's not sponsored by any of them, right? And then he takes off his gun at the safe table and then goes off and never puts another gun in his hand until he dry fires at home because he doesn't carry a gun, because he doesn't see the need for it. Us yelling at him that he's not a good American is also silly, right? So instead of trying to mold people, just do the best you can to help people out. Just do the best you can to people out, and understand that yelling at people, trying to shame them into doing things, right? It never works out, right? Believe me, I've tried. I used to be an angry guy. I used to be a very angry guy. But now, maybe getting older, life changes and stuff like that, man, I want to help you with what you want to get good at, right? And whatever you're starting on your philosophy first of why you do what you're doing, man, let's just get better from there, and keep on trucking and be happy.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Be happy.
Yeah,
You heard it here first.
There it is. There it is, man. There it is, right?
So kind of speaking about that kind of stuff, what's some I guess frustrating arguments or myths or whatever that you see on the internet, like that people are like bad information, or kind of like you said with the cops and competition thing, something similar to that? Is there any like pet peeves that you have that you wish would go
coming
away?
from that area?
Or,
well, the excuse is, they don't even use cover in competition. You get killed in the street. I'm like, bro, you're a SWAT man. You've never used cover your entire life. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? That's going to piss the people off. But that's okay, right? Again, know the difference between the two, right? Or the bad habits thing. I don't get that. The bad habits, right? It's like, I mean, you're a human being. You're a smart individual. Just because you do something repetitively in one thing doesn't mean you're going to do that same thing that doesn't fit in another criteria, right? For example, for some reason, when you're in a tactical pistol class and you're on the front line, you shoot, you got to search and assess looking for bad guys and ghosts, even though you're not there. Or when you're walking in the mall with your wife, right? Every time you go through a door, you searching and assessing that gregariously. Well, we're looking around, right? But we're not doing weird stuff, right? Wow, but you learned that bad habit on the range. Why don't you do it when you're in a restaurant or something like that? You know what I mean? That's probably not the best example of what I'm talking about, but you're a smart, intelligent individual, right? You can take things into context and not make them into bad habits, right? For example, when I roll, when I'm in a jiu-jitsu, rolling with my buddies in jiu-jitsu or a class or something like that, I wrist lock the crap out of people. It's annoying. But when I came up to you today, did I wrist lock you? No, I didn't. Right? Why? Because I'm in a different context. We're not doing jiu-jitsu. It didn't build a bad habit where I just wrist lock everybody all of a sudden. You know what I mean? So, anyway, that's a weird tangent. But get over the whole building of bad habits thing and be an intelligent individual that can put things into context based on what you're trying to accomplish. Right? A game is a game is a game. A scenario is a scenario is a scenario. A fight is a fight is a fight. Know which one it is. And get out there and build on those core competencies that can overlap into everything else. There you go. Yeah.
It's kind of like drills. Drills aren't, made to represent a scenario or something. It's to isolate a skill to get better at that,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Similar.
Absolutely. Which is the core for what, performance shooting, right? Performance shooting is a term that's been kicked around a lot for the last 2-3 years and stuff. And for some people, performance shooting just means, well, I don't talk about tactics. I also don't do well in competition. So we're going to call this performance shooting. So whatever. I kind of get where they're coming from. Here's how I look at performance shooting, right? It is the core competencies that are based on speed and accuracy that aren't directly to self-defense, competition, or work, but they have the core skills that can relate to all three of those so that you can apply them to any application with very little change. That's what I think performance shooting is, with a high level of accuracy and speed based on the difficulty of the target. That's what I think performance shooting is, right? That could be anything you want to do. It could be competition. It could be standards. It could be drills. It could be a whole bunch of different things. So, yeah.
Speaking of standards, what are the current black belt standards right now if you want to get a black belt patch?
Oh, okay. So when I developed the standards, right, because people love standards, some people really hate standards, probably because they can't do them. There's 4, right? So the first one is the 3 and 2. You're at 3 yards. You draw 3 yards to an A zone, right? And then 2 rounds to a 3x5 in the head box. You got to do it in 2 seconds. Then we go back to the 7. Draw 1 shot to the A zone, 1 second. Go back to the 7. Draw 6 rounds to the A zone, a bill drill in 2 seconds. And then we go back to the 25. Draw 1 shot to the A zone in 1.5, right? When I came up with the standards, it was made because these were the main things people were talking about why the red dot was still inferior to irons. Which is interesting now because people are like, can I talk about the main thing that's changed in the past 7 years?
Yeah, please.
Right? And because we've known each other for what now? Going on 8, 9, 10 years almost, right? Back when we were first shooting the dot, there was 2 major complaints. You couldn't acquire the dot on the draw. It was very hard. And the second one was that the dot was slower than irons up close. Now I actually take a poll, and I've changed my class a little bit. Like, who's heard that the dot is slower up close than irons? Maybe 1 or 2 people raise their hand.
Oh, wow.
Back in the day,
that was like
the main thing.
Absolutely.
The main reason why I'm not convinced on this because it's slower self-defense combat distances, right? Now it's not even a thing. You know why? The SRO. It's the main difference. Because when we first started shooting, we had the Trigicon.
Oh, yeah.
Right, where half the window's missing.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now with the SRO, people are like, oh, that's stupid. The dot's not slow up close. I'm like, well, bro, you've been shooting on SROs and 507 comps the entire time, where you're going to see it all the time. You know what I mean? Regardless, unless, you're really off. And some people are still really off. So that's changed over time. But I still think shooting up close, right, has a lot of applications, whether it be competition, work, or self-defense. So that's the main thing. Yep, but those are the standards. They're meant to be a variety of distances, a variety of difficulty of targets, right, and the time and accuracy standards. And I think that if you get good at this, right, it gives you a great path to learning how to get better at anything else you want to do, really, with the pistol, outside of movement.
I got one.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it was probably 3 years ago. It was one of the symposiums, shot with you. You took your gun, I don't remember what it was at the time, had an SRO on it, and you threw it
Up in the air. Yeah.
I don't know, 30 feet in the air, landed on the SRO. It was still on.
Yeah.
What are you seeing?
It didn't crack.
Didn't crack, didn't break, still shot. You just scooped the mud out of it,
Yep.
and dot was there.
Yeah.
What dots are you seeing perform the best these days? And if you want to talk about the shitty dots that are breaking these days. I know all dots have a breaking point.
Yeah.
But are you seeing like Trigicon's doing better on the range, Howlison's doing better on the range? What's that look
we
like?
can go through. We can go all of those. I'll do my best not to offend the internet.
Yeah.
That's gonna happen.
Or companies. It's going to happen. But just so everybody knows, like if I don't give a sterling review to a company, it's just not me talking shit. I've told them all this stuff before, right? Because I want everybody to be better. I don't care who you are, right? For example, let's take Holosun, right? Everyone's like, Chinese crap, blah, 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 America, man, right? And I get that. But what you got to realize with Holosun, if it wasn't for Holosun, your Aimpoint and Trigicon products would be $1,500 each right now. They are driving down the market for better durability, features and benefits, and performance. Hard stop. Whether you choose to use those products or not, you can't deny that they're there in the marketplace, right? So anyway, I judge dots on 3 criteria: performance, reliability, and durability, right? Performance. How big is that window? How clear is that glass? How clear is that dot? Is it sit in such a way where it comes up to your eye quickly and instinctively? Cool. Second one is reliability. Of the feature set that it has, is that feature set reliable, right? Is your light sensor on automatic as good as, say, the RMR HD, which is target focus, right? Is your benefits, between your 30 reticles on there, when I pull up my sight picture, is it going to be the one that I picked, right? Or is it going to scroll through things, right? And then durability, right? So durability is the part where we all get wrapped around the axle on, all right? I'm going to tell you, not everybody has the same durability requirements. A concealed carrier does not have the same durability requirements as a patrol guy. A patrol guy does not have the same durability requirements as a narc who's going hands-on every single day. So you need to set up what your durability requirements are. Now, we have my good buddy, Aaron Cowan, and we have his drop test, right? People think I don't like the drop test. No, I think it's fine. I think it gave us a standard. It gave us a test to go on. But on the counterpoint of that is like, man, if you had a buddy who dropped his gun 3 times in the course of shooting 2,000 rounds, how long would he remain your buddy? Right? Maybe it's not the dot's fault. Maybe you need to stop dropping your gun, bruh. Right? I'm not disparaging the test. I'm just saying that if you take one guy's test, one guy's opinion, right, and label that as scripture, then you're not giving things enough thought, right? Me personally, I've never broken an SRO. TSA has broken 3 of them for me, right? My bad, though. That was my bad. I had the foam sitting up too high in the Pelican, and TSA, they see lock cases, they start throwing shit.
Yeah.
Right?
Throwing cinder blocks at it.
100%, dude. If you look at my Pelican, looks like your Pelican. It looks like it's in Syria. You know what I mean? Once I fixed the foam, cut the bottom part of the foam off so it sat further down, right? Never had a problem with it. Other people have had problems with it. I haven't had a problem with it. You know what I mean? So that's how I look at things, right? So my 4 top dots: Trigicon RMR HD, Trigicon RCR, Trigicon SRO, and the Holosun 507 comp, right? Based on those criteria. Second place, Aimpoint P2, Steiner MPS, Holosun 509T, and Open Emitter Holosun optics, right? I'll explain, like, the Aimpoint, great dot, right? Closed emitter, yada, yada. It's the most expensive optic on the market right now for zero reason. There is no reason why it needs to cost more than something else other than that it's Swiss. That's where Aimpoint's from, Switzerland,
Sweden.
right? It's Sweden. Ow, whatever.
They're the
The
same.
Swiss, whatever.
Begins
It's
with an
all,
S.
it's all, whatever. Netherlands. Anyway, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I'm being ignorant right now, right? But there's no reason.
Europe.
Yeah. There's no reason for it to be more expensive than all the other ones, right? The MPS, right? Only because they need to figure out that power management scheme, right? The dot cutting off or the shutting off if you don't touch the button 13 hours, and then if you do program it out in version 2, it loses brightness settings above 7. 8, 9, and 10 are gone.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you know that.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, for example, if you're like my buddy Chris Brown, sheriff in Cleveland County, Arkansas, where he's colorblind, Arkansas noon sun, brightness 7, washes out.
Yeah.
White light 7, washes out. Now, I talked to Steiner about it, I think at OTOA's conference last year. They're going to figure it out. They're a great company. They'll figure it out, right? And the 509T, why is it in second place? I don't know. Because it's an awesome optic, right? I like a bigger window, so that's why I put 507s on my gun. But every time I look at the 509, it's so beautiful. Very little visual noise with the housing on it. I've never had a 509T go down in my class, ever, right? And I've beaten the crap out of those, as have my students, right? And it's the least expensive enclosed emitter on the market and pretty much runs with any open emitter cost on the market. And then open emitter Holosun's only because the round and curvature gives you less perceived window space. So those are generally my top ones, right? The RMR, I still got some RMRs, man. I got one on my LTT 1301, right? Because that cheek weld is always the same on the shotgun.
Yeah.
Size doesn't matter. But with bigger windows that are just as durable as the RMR and side and top loading batteries, the RMR is kind of a pain in the ass right now, right? The new one, third place, the Vortex Defender XL, the big one. Great glass. Love the way that battery is extra secure in there so it doesn't pop out. Clean glass, great dot, easy adjustments. It's in third place for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's still new, right? And the mongrels out there in the wild haven't put enough rounds through it because people do crazy stuff with their guns, okay? So I want to see what they can do with that stuff, right? Me, I've beaten the crap out of it, like it a lot. The other reason is 50 MA dot. That's me splitting hairs, right? I like between 2 and 4, right? I think the sweet spot is 2.5 to 3.5, right? Some people like bigger dots, right? I think 5 and 6 just blocks too much information, but that's me, right? But that's why it's in third. And this, guys, this is my opinion, not canon, not scripture. You take it for what you want, okay? And then number 4, Delta Point Pro. I don't like the Delta Point Pro. Sorry, Loophole. You're a great company, but I don't like it. I've had too many things go wrong with the Delta Point Pro, but other people have done good work with it, and they haven't had that problem, so that's why I include in fourth. Everything else is an also-ran. I'll give 3 honorable mentions. C&H, their comp, the SRO clone, for $300. That thing is a great value, right? I've beaten the crap out of that thing. The dot doesn't get as bright as the SRO, but for $300, what the hell you want, right? And then Lead and Steel out of Ohio. It's a very large window, right? Very durable. It's an honorable mention still because there's just not enough rounds out in the wild through it. But very promising company, and those dudes are really excited about what they do. And it's nice to see that enthusiasm in the industry, right? Shield RMS, no. We don't listen to the British about anything, especially shooting. Okay. Burris and Bushnell, while I want them to do better, they're, based on what I've seen, they're still hobbyist, type grade. EOTech. Guys, why would you make a Delta Point footprint gun that doesn't fit on staccatos? Why would you do that? Right? They sent me them, right? I want EOTech to do great, dude. I love my old EOTechs and stuff because I wasn't operating in sub-minus 100-degree weather or 200-plus Fahrenheit weather, so my zeros weren't shifting. I like EOTech, man. It's just that it's disappointing, right? So they're a great company. Hopefully figure it out. I'm sure I'll be getting a call from them saying, hey, man, we changed that. So Send one to me if you want, guys. I'll throw it on my staccatos, right? Because it's the only Delta Point footprint gun I have, and we'll give it a good college whirl. Not a fan of SIG optics. SIG knows that. I'm not a fan of them at all. Hard stop. They all fail. If you're police and you work for a SIG shop, your only viable choice is the Romeo 2. The Romeo 2 is passable. All right. If anybody wants to call me, and I'll give you my opinions and my experience as to why. Yep. So there you go. I think that's it. I forget to mention anybody favors optic. Oh, small optics. I don't mess with small optics. I'm 6'1", 265 pounds. I'm a firearms instructor. I do what I want. More gun, more better. More optic, more better. Yeah. But it's got a big optic. I can SRO, and I'm going to print. That means you have a shitty holster, my friend. You have a shitty holster, right? But Kyle DeFore, he loves his EPSs, man. He loves his EPSs. So if you want a small optic, take his advice and get a hollow sun EPS. So
cool. Yeah. I mean, you see a huge sample size teaching.
Yeah.
100 classes a year, 40,000 rounds on a gun a year. So
yep.
It's good to know what.
Yep. I'll do one honorable mention so SIG doesn't completely
shadow ban you.
Well, whatever.
The ban hammer.
They can do all they want. Nobody cares.
Gotta be worried about like United Healthcare CEO kind of thing. SIG gonna come.
SIG's gonna take a hit out on you.
I could say so many things right now. Right now, they couldn't afford to hire a hitman.
Shots fired.
No, SIG's a great. Hey guys, and here's the thing: SIG's put a lot of money in my pocket. I've taught the academy like 5 or 6 times, right? Not old, but 226s, 228s. Man, I had a East German 218. Man, I love those guns, dude. Hammer fired SIGs all day long.
I need
210s. Oh my god.
I need a 228 in my life.
Yeah, dude, amazing guns, right? And I don't hate the 320 except for the issues that we've been seeing, and I have seen them. I will tell you this: Max Michel's big optic. One has never gone down in my class. I will say that. And I've had a fair amount. I probably had like 30 come through my class.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The only thing I don't like about the Max Michel version is that they got the tiny little Allen wrench as opposed to the flathead, right?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Flathead, you can at least use like brass or something.
You can, yeah, 100%.
That's
right?
the one thing
Or it's an easy tool,
Yeah.
right? For example, you get your multitasker twist out there. Shout out to King, right? And it's great. That little tiny thing, you're going to lose it.
Oh yeah.
You're going to lose it, right? So
That's
yeah,
one
but
thing
I've never had a Max Michel optic go down. So
like
kudos
about
to
the
Max.
P2 is like I like the P2 except you need the Torx bit to make adjustments, and I'm like, can we just make that into a
Oh, you know what
flathead?
the solution to that is, right? Get a multitasker twist, and the flathead works.
Oh really? Oh
Yeah,
the
dude,
tiny
you
little
know-
flathead. Yeah, I bet
Yeah,
it does.
here's the thing. I
Interesting.
actually had the multitasker twist, and then I had a Nano 2, like
Yeah.
tethered to the thing, and it was always hard, because the way the tether is. And then my buddy AJ Zito
Oh yeah.
goes, "No, bro, the flathead works in there." I was like, "How long have you known about this?"
You
I'm
bitch.
literally struggling with this thing when I had come on, bro. I was today years old.
Well, there's
when I
your life
discovered
hack.
that. Yeah, exactly. And it's made my life so much easier.
Oh yeah.
you know.
Just changed my life right now.
Yeah.
Exactly. After the podcast, we're going to go test that out, right?
Yeah.
There you go. Yep.
That's great.
Yep.
So on the optics note, closed versus or open versus enclosed emitter.
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
Don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a big debate on the internet right now.
Yeah,
Everyone's
it
like, it
is.
has to be enclosed.
Why? I don't know why. I mean, yeah, I don't know. My biggest thing is I'm a performance guy.
Right.
More window, more better. And unfortunately, right now, you don't have that with enclosed emitters. Plus, enclosed emitters, there is, other than the 509, there's a lot of visual noise in the enclosure, right? Now, if you're worried about austere conditions and things of that nature, I guess I kind of get it, right? But if you don't know what I'm talking about, when I talk about the aim point moisture ring of death, you don't shoot enough, right? where at least on an open emitter, right, I can take the tactical finger and wipe off the thing. When moisture gets in and closed emitter,
Yeah, they're done.
you're done.
Yeah.
Hard stop. Done. You know what I mean? So yeah, here's my thing though. You're an American. Do what you want. If you want a closed emitter, knock yourself out. To this day, has anybody been killed in the streets because they had an open emitter? Right? And here's the other thing that pisses off thing. I was like, hey man, give me some data. Give me some anecdotal evidence. With the internet now, I mean, between active self-protection, police activity, police posts, and everything else is being posted, I mean, we have examples of everything. Of everything, right? Show me the gunfight in the rain. Show it to me.
Yeah.
At least at a distance where size matters, right? With the pistol, at a distance where sights mattered. You know, until you show it to me, right? It's kind of like slide lock. Show me the guy that reloaded when his gun went to slide lock. When did he reload? When he was being shot at. No bang, right? So I pick recoil control with how high my support hand grip is over slide lock. That's a personal choice. You do what you want to do.
Yeah, you're kind of prioritizing the first 18 rounds,
right?
Versus
first on human performance. Yeah. And I'm not saying human performance can't get there. I mean, you know this, bro. I say this in my classes. You know this, right? I'm not saying human performance can't get there on slide lock. What I'm saying is I haven't seen it before. I mean, 7 years ago, if you could do a bill drill from concealment, 6 rounds, 2 seconds, you were a god. You're Instagram famous right now. Now, it's an invitation to the party, and you still might not be let in, right? So I'm not saying human performance can't get there. I'm saying I haven't seen any examples of it. So since I haven't seen any examples of it, I'm going to pick recoil control over slide lock. It's the same thing with enclosed over emitter. Until you show me someone that's actually been killed in the streets because they had an open emitter, right, where they would have done better with a closed emitter. That's your opinion. You're an American. Do what you want to do, but I'm not going to change my mind, right? My whole thing is I think with the closed emitter, you're playing a little bit of defense against the elements and stuff like that. To me, what's the best defense? Great offense. And having a bigger window lets you have a better offense. Again, guys, that is my personal opinion based on the data that I have seen and consumed and analyzed for myself. You need to do your own due diligence. And if you want to run a closed emitter, awesome. If you want to argue with me, you need to show me data, right?
Yeah, you got to have something to back it up.
Yeah, have something to back it up. Otherwise, it's just your opinion, and you're an American.
Well,
do what you want.
We hear that in the range all the time when people come in and they just regurgitate things they either heard on the internet or their buddy said or whatever. And you
based on their favorite instructor's resume.
Exactly. So
yeah.
Yeah, it's a little frustrating. It's like,
Yeah.
show me,
Yeah.
where'd you get that information from? Show me the research.
Yeah, from that guy that only shoots rifles. Anyway, moving on.
Or it's like the person that's like, oh, my neighbor's a cop. He told me to get this gun. And it's like, well, there might be
Ruger
better.
LCP.
There might be better out there, my brother.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, but on the other hand, I used to say that stuff too, but on the other hand, man, where else are they going to get their information from?
100%.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right? And them having some advice, although some advice is bad, it's still better than nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, like, for example, one of the, like, you can't even call him an OG. He's an elder OG, right? Masayu. People rail against Mas, right? Because some of the things he said in the past, like you said, some of the things in the past, like get a gun that your local police department shoots. Have your defensive round the same as their duty round. And don't do anything to the gun because you don't want the DA to go after you. Well, the guy was inventing the civilian game for the most part, along with some other dignitary or some very important people in the thing. So take that information, do what you want to do. We now have, which they did not have before, decades of history or whatnot, right? That says, you know what, you can go ahead and get that aftermarket trigger because no one's gone to jail for a trigger.
You got to look at it in the context of the time when it was said.
Exactly.
Right.
In the 80s back then, like you said, there wasn't 4 decades worth of cases.
Yeah, right. And if you look at that advice, that's not bad advice, right? If you're really afraid of your district attorney, that is not bad advice.
Yeah.
Like the analogy I use often is like if you're a basketball fan at all, right? If you look at the centers of old, the legends, right? Kareem, Chamberlain, and Russell. Compared to the recent Hall of Famers, right? Shaq, Robinson, Elijah, the first three look like physical morons, right? But they were inventing the game, right? They did not have the luxury of seeing people do it better than they did, where the other three saw what those legends did and made it better, right? There is no Jordan without Oscar Robinson, right? There is no, there is no, what's his face in Steph Curry, right? Without John Stockton, right? Or Doc Rivers, stuff like that. We got to build upon that. Let's look at those things before we go, that's old, boomer crap, and just look at it through their lens and then develop the opinion for what we want to develop it on. Hopefully that makes sense to people.
Yeah.
Or they're like, Jedi used to be a real grumpy ass. Now he's all nice and shit. What's going on here? This is not entertaining.
We need something controversial.
I know, something controversial. Yeah, no. Do what you want. Do what you want. So
2025, what, doing 100 classes again next year?
Yep. 100 classes a year. The staff guys will probably do another 50 or 60.
So who's on the MSP staff right now?
I was going to say, you just
hopefully.
told my question out of my...
Yeah, there's the controversy. Hopefully I can remember all of them, right? So you have Sheriff Chris Brown out of Cleburne County, Arkansas. You have Russ Lyons, right, out of Ohio, the Cleveland area. You have Shane Cardwell out of the Cincinnati area. You have AJ Zito, right? The AJ Zito. Who else do we have? Gil Narvaez out of the Charlotte area, Fortitude Consulting. So that's 5. Who else do we have? As a side note, right, Hunter Freeland is going off on his own, as he absolutely should. He is an amazing talent, an amazing instructor, and he's too young to be flying another man's flag. He's got to go get his own. He's got to go make his own path. And I wish him all the success in the world in that venture. So he was a staff instructor, right? But he's on his own now. So John Sherbert. John Sherbert. People don't know who he is. MOTAC training. Special operations guy. I think he was a ranger. Then he went to the groups, former Fayetteville SWAT, and now he is the competition director at the Range Complex. If you don't know what the Range Complex, it was formerly Tiger Swan in the Fayetteville area. And I'm missing one, and I apologize to whoever that is.
Had a long week.
Yeah.
Long couple of years.
Yeah. Had a long week. Yeah, but those guys do a fantastic job. And then Donovan Moore is a honorary staff instructor, but he doesn't teach my class because he's busy enough.
Yeah.
So, but he's an honorary. So, yeah, there you go, man.
So about 160 MSP classes next year.
Yeah.
All combined.
Uh-huh.
So you basically have no excuse not to get into an MSP class. There's probably one in your area.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's going to Puerto Rico.
Yeah, I'll be in
wow.
Puerto Rico in about a week or so. I mean, everywhere from Alaska to Puerto Rico. Finally got an invitation out to Hawaii. We'll see.
Oh, nice.
That's kind of expensive to go out there, man. That's going to be like $1,000 for a 2-day class. We'll see. I'd like to go out there.
So you're at 48 states right now. Have you done all 40, like the continental 48?
What's an obscure state that
I guess like
would
New
have
England,
done?
you got like Rhode Island or something, or Jersey. You may not go there.
No, I do Jersey every year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I do. I do Sussex County.
You go to
Ellie only
Connecticut?
New Jersey. Russ does New York because I don't want to mess with New York. He does New York. We've done Maine. Have we done Rhode Island? I don't think we've done Rhode Island. Maybe that's the only one. But we've done North and South Dakota.
Oh,
We
wow.
did Yellowstone Sheriffs in Montana.
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, we haven't done Hawaii, and I think we haven't done Rhode Island, but I think we've done every single other state out there.
Europe.
So here's the thing, bro.
worldwide.
I don't want to mess with ITAR,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
So-
yeah, going in church. Yeah.
Yeah. So for the audience out there, if you don't know what ITAR is, so the government has specific things where you cannot teach tactics unless it is approved by the State Department. Now, can you get away with marksmanship in competition? Yes, but that's a blurry line.
Yeah, not when you want to kind of flirt with.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
blurry line. Maybe doing Canada this year. I've had some Canadian LE come down to the class, and they want to bring me up. They are handling all the ITAR stuff for me. What else is
I
going
always
to be?
forget that, like, I know, like, product falls under ITAR, but I always forget, like, training falls under
Yeah.
ITAR.
Oh, yeah, training's a big part of it.
Yeah.
Yep. If you can do it under marksmanship, yes. But, for example, if you teach marksmanship, but you have a humanoid-like silhouette, you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful with that, because it only takes once to get on that list, man. You know.
Yeah, that would blow.
Yep.
Yeah,
Exactly.
ITAR's crazy. Like, technically, you're not even supposed to post specs of night vision, like, on the internet. Like, we used to post the specs of the night vision that
Yeah.
we were selling, and that was, like, an ITAR violation.
I did not realize
Oh, wow.
that.
Or we were
Yeah.
going to. We never did, but, like, somebody hit me up, and they're like, hey, don't... if
That's
you're-
why it's so hard to find information, right?
Yeah.
Because I like when Biden got elected. Remember, I got the night vision from you and stuff like that, and it was a very well-known company and stuff, but you couldn't find anything.
Yeah, they're-
Like, where's the button for the IR?
Well,
You couldn't even find that. Man,
we went to Banff this year, and I wanted to bring my night vision because it's, dark and national parks and night vision just, if you haven't done it yet, it fucks. It's great.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, I don't think I can bring this to Canada. And I was like, that's big sad.
Yeah,
'Cause ITAR. I didn't want to, customs steal my night
Yeah.
vision.
that would suck.
Yeah.
That would
Baller on a budget over here, so, can't afford another set of night vision.
Yeah. So, yeah. We're all right. Yeah. Good times. Good times. I mean, I've asked to come to go to Europe and Asia and Brazil. it's not worth the money,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Well, it's a
And
long
what
time
I would have to
commitment,
charge.
too.
What's
You know,
up?
It's a long time commitment because, you got to plan
Correct,
for
with the
travel
travel,
days and stuff, and then
yeah.
that's cutting into your 100 classes that you're
Yeah.
doing,
Exactly.
Like,
You're
doing
like, come here and train, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you got 2 classes here this week. You did Tuesday, Wednesday. I guess today's Thursday that we're recording this, and you got
Yep.
Friday, Saturday.
Sunday.
Yeah.
Yep. It's
Oh, yeah,
3-day
Friday,
class.
yeah,
Yeah.
3-day
It's
class, yeah.
AIWB into Red Dot. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And then home, a couple days off, and then off to Puerto Rico, and then
Nice.
That'll be fun.
yeah. And again, just it's just the time, the travel, the cost expense
Yeah.
of not only what you're spending, but what you could be earning
Yeah.
without as
opportunity
much
cost.
expense
Yeah.
in the time.
You're
And-
not going to fly to Europe for a day, or 3 days, teach 2 classes, or you're going to be
Yeah.
there for a couple days.
Yeah, that's why you have to combine it with something.
Yeah.
Like going to Puerto Rico is not the most, Puerto Rico is not Mexico. It costs the same as Miami. You just forget it because no one speaks English out there. You know what I mean? So, but if you can tie that in with the vacation.
Yeah.
Right? So we're going to go down there. We're staying with the friends, so that'll minimize that cost and stuff like that. And then we're going to stay for a day to kind of wrap it into a vacation. That makes sense. If I'm going to go to, let's say, a foreign country and the ITAR stuff all gets worked out and we can integrate a vacation in there, then it becomes a benefit unto its own outside the expense of the class, right? So,
Have you reached a million miles yet?
I think a long time ago, man. But the problem is I went from United when I lived in Northern Virginia. Now I'm
Now you're
on-
Delta or American. I
now
bet.
I'm American.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm American. But yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get there. It's a big airport like Charlotte, and they recognize you. You fly a lot.
The TSA agent's like, "What's up, Scott?"
Yeah. Well, you don't see the TSA here in Charlotte. I'm talking about the
the
the true gatekeepers,
Oh,
the
yeah.
gate agents or
Yeah.
something like that, right? Where they're just like, "Hey, man, what's going on?" Yeah, you just throw that in there now. Clock it up. We'll see you, buddy. Have a good one. So. Or you get the new one out there. It's like, okay, sir, we're going to go through all these questions. And I start answering their questions before they ask me. It's like, oh, you do this before?
Yeah, a time or
Yeah,
two.
man, a couple of times.
About
right.
160 times a year.
Yeah, and they're like, and like this one lady goes, I doubt that. I go, look at your screen.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh,
Do you know who I am?
yeah. Or my favorite one when you get the uppity social warrior gate agent, right? And then my comeback is like, just so you know, I fly with guns more than you do. And they're like, well, I guess you're right. So, you know.
When was the last time you flew with a gun, ma'am?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, yep. Good times, man. Good
Right
times.
on. So you're still on Instagrams, Facebooks, all
Yeah.
that good stuff?
Yep.
We're-
Instagrams, Facebooks, concentrating on a little bit more on the YouTubes.
yeah.
You know, I think YouTube got a lot of. They're being attacked a lot because they came out with all those policies that they put out
Yeah.
for everybody
Yeah.
to look at. Where no one really attacked Instagram because they didn't put their policies for everyone to look at. You just got shadow banned and didn't know,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
But here's what I looked at. I worked on Instagram for a long time because Instagram is easy, right? Hit, boom, you're out, you're done. YouTube takes a little bit more production.
Yep.
But so I wasn't really concentrating on YouTube. I used to do the podcast. I just don't have time to do the podcast as much as I used to. But I'm all like, I'm putting all this effort in Instagram. I'm not putting any effort in YouTube, and I have the same amount of followers on both. And YouTube pays me. Let's concentrate on YouTube.
Yeah.
And plus, I can't tell you, even this last class, I had of the, I don't know, there's 14, 15 people in the class. 10 of them said I found you through YouTube and the videos that you made a couple years ago.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, well, there you go.
Yeah,
You need to start doing a little bit more of that, and getting into that and stuff. So
For people that want to come shoot one of your classes, what gear, setup, ammo do they need to come?
Yep.
take
You
a-
just need a good, reliable semi-automatic pistol from a major manufacturer. You need a good, reliable dot that's going to make it through a 2-day class. And don't worry, I don't do CrossFit with guns like some guys do, right? We're just shooting. You need a good holster. It doesn't matter where you carry. 3 o'clock, outside the waistband, AIWB. I prefer you not come 3 o'clock concealed for body mechanic reasons, safety reasons, and it's slower, right? Sorry, Chris Woomer. You're an anomaly, bro. Right?
Well, he's a beast, man. You can't,
Yeah. He's also, God love him. He's one of the, he is a super athletic, super strong guy, but he's about as wide as a pipe cleaner, And when you're that wide, sorry, Chris, don't get mad at me, bro. Right? Don't blow me up with your Darcy explosive and shit like that, right? Right? But you can carry wherever you want when you're that thin. You know what I mean? He's a V, right? You can hide anything you want when you're a V and stuff like that. But for most people, the 3 o'clock position doesn't work. And on a line, it gets kind of weird, I hear, right?
Yeah, especially after a couple days, people are starting to get fatigued.
Yeah.
It becomes a safety
Exactly.
concern.
Exactly. But 3 o'clock, outside the waistband, you want to bring your Safari ALS, SLS ALS. You want to bring your gamer gear. You can do whatever you want. No old leather holsters. Not that I don't appreciate a good leather holster. People just don't bring good leather holsters to classes,
Yeah.
right? They bring the old flimsy,
Flippity-floppity.
Uncle Mike's or whatever those other brands are that do that stuff. Don't do that. Ammo, just make sure it goes bang, man. Just make sure it goes bang. I would like you to have a gun that you can learn without any extra difficulties, right? If you have large hands and you come to my class with a SIG 365 without the extension, you're doing heavy lifting because you don't have enough real estate for your big old hands, right? Although, if that's your carry gun and that's the only gun you own, you knock yourself out. The ability to carry 4 mags, 1 in the gun, 1 in the mag pouch, 2 in your pocket. And I say 1,000 rounds for my class just to overcompensate in case we really get into it. Generally, you can get through my class with 700 to 800 rounds, right? But how do you say bring hitting rounds to my class? It's 1,000.
Yeah.
It's 1,000.
Bring a
right?
case.
Yeah. Exactly.
You do a lot of shooting in your classes.
Yep.
You're not standing around and you talk through it, but you're shooting.
Yeah, I demo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I demo. I shoot about 250 rounds per class on the demos and stuff like that. Yep. You should. Right? People are both visual and audio learners, right? You're not one or the other. You're a combination of both. There may be a skew, but, my job as an instructor is explaining to you what I'm doing, right? Show you what I'm doing, showing you the base level that you can see what I'm doing in the demo. Sometimes it's exaggerated to be a little bit more careful than it needs to be. But if I go at my slow pace, you're not seeing anything because my slow pace is faster than your fast pace, right? What you can get to when you have the proper philosophy, principle, technique, and reps. And then finally, what may be an upper level of performance that you're not at yet, but man, you just got a glimpse of what's possible. And how do I explain those concepts in different ways that resonate with different people?
So that kind of goes into my question. So your classes are pretty big. So how do you make sure that people of, all different proficiency levels, they each get what they need out of that class?
Yeah, so
that's always
I get that question a lot.
Yeah, it's my favorite question to
Yeah.
ask instructors.
Let's say that this class I had, I think it was 14 people in the class, right? I always run 2 relays, okay? Because I tell my people, you're going to learn just as much when you're not on the firing line as when you're on your firing line from your successes and mistakes and your partner's successes and mistakes and how you interact, and perhaps together you take that data of what you did and you calibrate toward the effective middle. So pay attention even if you're not shooting. If we're doing a exercise and there's 7 people on the line, we do 7 reps. And I go person to person on each single rep. If I have 20 people in the class and there's 10 people in the line, 10 reps. So that way I touch everybody in the class probably 40, 50 times. And that is all you need. I don't need to fix you right now because you don't have the capacity for me to fix all your problems right now. I'm going to give you one thing. I want you to work on that. Then the next time I get to you, we'll work on the next thing, and then the next thing, and then the next thing. And by the end of the class, everybody gets better. So that's how I do it.
Good.
It's very scientific.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming down and teaching.
Always a pleasure.
Hanging out with us for a couple of days.
Yeah, man. Always a pleasure. You guys are one of, if not my favorite places to be.
Well, thank you. That means a lot.
Well, I love Houston. I love Houston, right? You and I have known each other. Geez, we grew up in this industry together, basically, right? Going on almost 10 years knowing each other. 2025 will probably be 10 years knowing each other, going from the smallest of people to, the giants we are now. We're not giants. We're not giants. It's been a good time, right? Good journey and stuff. And, so you guys are doing just as much. You guys are doing just as much, if not more, than anything that I could hope to accomplish in this, man. You know what I mean? And so good times. Good times. What are you doing, bro?
I'm
what are you
hanging
gonna
out,
do?
man.
You're just hanging out, dude. What are you
I'm
gonna do
hanging
in
out.
2025?
What am I?
buddy?
2025?
This is the first time you did my podcast. What the hell are you doing here? What are you doing, buddy?
Nothing. Hanging out, man.
All right.
Living, traveling. Wife and I shooting guns, taking classes.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I know.
Kicking ass, taking names.
You've been here 4 times. I think this is the first time.
This first time.
I always get kicked out of it.
But you haven't been on the
Bullshit.
podcast?
No,
With
I
him,
don't.
with Scott?
I don't know. Maybe the first one, but like the last 2 or 3.
Oh, I guess because Hunter's usually here.
Yeah.
Well, it's been
usually a
Hunter.
full
It's
house.
been Brian Valise was
Yeah.
here.
Oh, that's
you and
right.
Chris.
Yeah, I get fucking. I'm the low man on the totem pole.
Oh,
They're
wow.
like, get out of here.
Well, congrats. Well,
I like this,
is
dude.
a-
But I think so you're kind of like that. What's that comedian? He was like in Wedding Crashers and In Between Two Ferns.
Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're that guy. You're that guy.
I'm just here, learning, watching, listening,
You're that. Yeah.
Look
like
at
a
Ian.
weird
He's-
fuzzy sponge.
He's all grown
Yeah.
up now. He's on his
I
first
know.
MSP podcast.
You bring that whole Kill Tony vibe to the
Jeez.
podcast. You know what I mean, buddy?
He's an interesting guy, Kill Tony.
Yeah, he's.
I don't
great.
know what y'all are talking about.
Oh, he's a comedian. I mean, he's pretty well known, but
Yeah.
he has this whole thing where he basically just goes around and he has a panel and brings people up and they do like 2 minutes of stand up and they critique them and they just talk shit.
Yeah,
It is fantastic.
It's pretty vulgar. Like it's wild.
It is wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's the vibe you're bringing.
He also, like, if you're good, he'll bring you back on. Like
Yeah.
he like makes comedians,
Oh,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
or he'll
Yeah.
destroy people.
Yeah. Or
Make
he'll
him cry.
people.
Yeah.
on
They
stage
can cry.
in front of everybody.
It's a good time.
his
Have you made anybody cry on this podcast
I
before?
don't think so.
I,
Not yet.
You
There's
want
always
me
a
to, like,
first.
I could
we
probably
could-
cry if you need me to. Quick.
We could do the roast of Ian right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wait till after the podcast, then I cry.
Oh, you got a list?
Before and after.
You got a list of things you're going to launch on them?
Yeah.
As soon as we cut off the camera?
Yeah.
That's soon. All right, that's cool.
It'll happen.
That'll happen.
No, I got nothing. So.
Nothing at all. Okay. All right. When are you going to trade in that Buffalo Bill shirt for a Texan shirt?
I mean, born and raised in Buffalo, so it's not going to go anywhere. But,
I know, but eventually.
I support, the Texans. They're the local team. I got to support the Texans. We went to the Bills-Texans games. The Texans won.
You know what the hardest thing for me this year is?
What?
So Heather is from Michigan, right? Grand Rapids area. So she's a Lions fan.
Yeah.
And I'm a Bears fan, right? In this last game, even though I'm fully supporting the Lions.
The
man.
Lions are
Who would ever thought they
crushing
were
it this year.
11-1? Do you think that would ever come out of your mouth?
Yeah.
That's like, oh my God, the Buffalo Bills won the Super Bowl finally.
you're
That's,
just
you
like,
would
hey,
never say
hey,
that.
stop
You would
between 1
never
and 11.
Stop it.
You-
Have you seen the memes where it's the Super Bowl that the U.S. wants and it's the Lion and
Yeah.
the Lions in Buffalo, and it's like the
Yeah.
Super Bowl you're going to get, it's fucking Kansas City and the Falcons, and they're like,
or like the true sign of the apocalypse is a Super Bowl with the Bills and the Vikings. Because neither one of them can win, so God will just end the world before one
oh
of them.
no, come on.
Oh,
Come
yeah,
on.
bro. Come on.
We're having a decent season.
I know.
We got a shot.
All right,
We just
yeah. You
Kansas
keep
City
telling-
is our fucking kryptonite. So
I know. They're everybody's kryptonite.
I know,
bro.
it's bullshit.
They're everybody's kryptonite.
And
They
this
got
year
Taylor
they're-
Swift putting the curses
Dude,
on
this
the
year they're
competition.
paying. I don't know if do you watch football all the time?
No, I'm a tactical guy that says screw the sports ball. No, I love sports.
I
bro.
mean, like-
and hey, oh by the way, all my tactical guys, you say dumb shit like sports ball, you're missing a higher level of testosterone. Stop it. You sound like an idiot. How about that? I give
we
the
go.
internet
There,
something.
we got our clip.
I give something.
Kansas
right?
City
Yeah,
is-
just because you got pickass and kickball doesn't mean you're cool now because you shoot guns.
Kansas
all
City's
right?
paying the fucking devil this year for some of their wins, and it's wild.
Bro.
It's wild. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
But whatever. Here we are. Here we are.
Here we are. There we go. Heather was saying after Trump got elected, right? She's like, please, Detroit, don't burn the city down. It's our only chance to win the Super Bowl.
No, they're going to burn the city
Don't
down
burn the
if they
city
win the
down.
Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, after they win the Super Bowl, it's fine.
100%.
And guess what? The day after they burn it down, it'll look the same. It'll look the same.
Fact.
All right. So I'm making it up.
There we go.
There we go. We're making
So
it
if
up.
you
for
stuck
sure.
around this time, you got the best part of the podcast right
That's
now.
right. That's right.
The other 57 minutes or whatever,
Yeah.
that was all fluff. This is the real me.
Exactly. If you hate me, man, just know I'm a Bears fan and life can't be worse. Oh, my God. The Bears. Love them. Hate them. Anyway, good times.
Well, anyways, thank y'all for watching, listening, checking it out, all that good stuff. Go check out Scott, get into a class. There's 160 of them this year. You can get into an MSP class if you want.
Yep.
Unless you're in Europe, then in that case.
Yeah. You're in Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, that's about it. Ian, you want to sign us off with a cool word of wisdom?
It's the end of the year. Change your optic batteries and shoot your fucking carry guns.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Yeah.
We'll see y'all. Take care.
Word.
I miss your moms.
This is